Hi guys, today I'm going to talk about mental health, especially in construction and within property. Mental health affects everyone in any workplace, and I think the most common thing that people misunderstand is mental health is not the same as mental illness. And I recently completed a course for mental health first aider, and it's given me a great insight into what goes on behind the workings of someone with mental health issues. It's quite a deep topic. It goes into a lot of detail about mental illnesses such as depression, mental illnesses such as psychosis, schizophrenia. It goes through different aspects of how people think in that time and how it affects them on a day-to-day basis. Mental health illnesses such as bipolar disease, or they could have OCDs, which is actually a lot of people throw around terminology in mental health and kind of say that, oh, I'm OCD, even though it's saying if they want things in a particular way. Some people are just throwing out the words of, I'm OCD, this and that, but they could not have OCD. They could be just saying that they do. And it's quite a touchy subject. You can't really approach someone and say, do you really have OCD, or is it actually a condition that people suffer from? And a lot of people don't seem to understand that mental health is different from mental illness. From what I understand, when I approach people and I talk to them saying about mental health, a lot of people approach it in a negative light. A lot of people think that mental health is not what it it's not something that you should talk about. It's something that has a lot of stigma around it, and it's not exactly what it is, what people think it is. Mental health is just like physical health. It's like if you look after your physical health, you go to the gym, you look good, you look after your hair, you do your makeup, you make sure you eat well. That's all to do with your physical health. It's nothing to do with how you put on weight, how you lose weight. Mental health can be good, and it can also be bad. And when it's good, obviously people don't take notice. They think, oh, everything's normal. But when it's bad, that's when people obviously place a lot of importance on it. And it's good to know, especially when you're starting out any new business and in construction or property, there's a lot of issues surrounding mental health, even in the workplace now today. So a lot of people now are trying to become more aware of mental health. In particular in construction, I've met a few ladies that are working in HR in construction, and they said to me it's part of a requirement in April 2020. In April of 2020, it's going to be a part of a requirement to have a representative inside your workplace. So I'm lucky that I actually have had the opportunity to take this course, and I'm now a mental health first aider, so I can apply that within working in construction. But even when going to your normal job and your day-to-day job, you don't often have people that you can go and talk to about mental health issues. I think in construction it usually works out as if you're working in a construction site, they usually have external representatives that come on site and then assess the individuals to see if they're doing okay, how their work has been during the time period of however long they've last been assessed, and if they have any stresses and difficulties, and that's usually a good thing. So it's good to keep on top of your mental health, and we find a lot of people, especially within mental health, a lot of women are able to talk about it, and they go to see their GP, and they go to talk to their GP about saying, they're not feeling well, or they just don't feel like they're up to it, they feel demotivated, they could feel tired. And I think a lot of people don't tend to talk much about it, especially when it comes to men. Men don't seem to talk about mental health, and I think it's one of the key things that they actually need to talk about. Mental health affects everything in your life. There was one case study that I saw when I went on this course, and the guy was suffering from, I think it was a bipolar, and he had severe highs and he had severe lows, and then he found it really hard. And it's like working in the same environment for a number of years, his colleagues found it hard to work around him because he would have a bipolar kind of fit, and then he would have severe, really good phases in his workplace, and then he would go and have really bad phases, and he would just go out and lash out at anyone at work, and then it would affect everyone else in work. And a lot of people, I mean, you can't confuse this with stress, because mental health, he obviously has a condition and he's taking it out on people at work. Some people who are stressed take it out on other people at work, but mental health is slightly different. When you have a diagnosis, is the next thing is how can you best manage it or take care of it. And going through this course, it actually it hit quite home. It hit quite hard, because I have a lot of people in my family and a lot of relatives and friends that I know that have actually gone through mental health issues. I've even had family that have taken their lives within mental health. So it's not a topic that you should really throw about saying, oh, I've got OCD, I've got a phobia of this, I've got a phobia of that. It's not something just to make an excuse. You have to think that your mental health is important, because it affects all aspects of your life. It affects your relationships that you have, it affects your career opportunities, it affects your progression opportunities, it can affect your physical health. If you feel depressed, you feel down, binge eating is also classified as a mental health disorder, because it is affected. You're associating food with stress, and it's like the stress that you have, you're turning to binging, and I didn't even realize it. So there's a lot of aspects to mental health which you have to take into consideration, especially when you're starting a new company, or you're starting new endeavors, or you're looking out to start something new. You have to assess where your mental health is right now, and how are you going to make sure it continues to be good, and how are you going to keep on top of feeling good, keeping motivated, and keep going on within your journey. And it's one thing that I've learned, and I'm quite the one reason why I took the mental health first aider course was to learn a bit more about how I can help other people, and how I can give access to those resources that other people need and they don't know where to find. Because I've been through a lot of issues myself through mental health, and I didn't find any resources. I had to go to so many people to get help. And I think, especially within construction, not many people talk about mental health, and a lot of people kind of think, you know, we're working on the day-to-day lives. And if you think about construction work as a whole, construction workers probably go home, you know, they're married, they have kids, they go home, their wives tell them off, their wives say this and that, and they don't have an outlet. They go to work and they bring that stress to work, and then they go home with stress as well, especially when things go wrong on construction sites. So it's one of those things that they don't have anyone to talk to, and they don't know who to talk to. And having a mental health first aider, especially when you're working in construction, can help, because you know, often guys are really tired, they're overworked, they're stressed, and they can obviously cause accidents, especially with construction. So it's one thing that I think in construction it needs to be made more aware of. And I think generally as a whole, more people are talking about mental health, and I think that's the way forward. If you'd like to know more about this, I'm going to develop a course, so I can put the links below, or you'll be able to around my page, on my homepage, you'll be able to see any courses that I have available for you.